What's going on, y'all? It's the Kid J Nolan here. As y'all know, I've been covering this Jonathan Majors incident over the course of the last about week or so. We all know the incident that happened. I don't need to get into all of that. By now, if you haven't heard, you might want to go just Google. But y'all know that Jonathan Majors is basically under investigation for an alleged attack on his girlfriend or somebody he's dealing with. Her name and identity has not been fully revealed at this point. His legal team came out earlier in this week and said that he would definitely be vindicated, that he was not guilty, that he didn't do anything that's being charged against him, all of those things, and that there will be some form of verification in the form of a written statement and video footage that would clear his name. We have not seen the video footage as of yet. However, some text messages have been leaked online. And to be honest, reading this with an untrained eye, I'm not sure how these text messages absolve him of anything. The language definitely seems to be a bit coded. Definitely sounds like this young lady could have been coerced or that she's doing her absolute best to keep him out of trouble. But it doesn't really feel like what she's telling the authorities is all that genuine or authentic. I have to be completely honest just from my perspective of what I'm seeing. But let's get into the actual text messages and try to break down what's being said to the best of my ability. Y'all could definitely chime in below. I really would appreciate that because it's not looking good for your boy, man. And if things happen to go the way that it's looking like they may happen, his career may indeed be over. All right, so we have this text here that says, "Please let me know you're okay when you get this. They assured me that you won't be charged. They said they had to arrest you as protocol when they saw the injuries on me and they knew we had a fight." The language there does not really seem to be all the way there, you know what I mean? Especially when you say they knew we had a fight. Like, what type of fight are you actually talking about? Because in this situation, it's not in anyone's best interest if you're trying to clear his name to even use that particular word. Why didn't you say disagreement or something like that? That, number one, ain't looking good. Now, I know a lot of people identify arguments as fights and be like, oh, we had a fight. You don't want to be too casual in this type of situation. Language is definitely going to be broken down no matter how you want to cut or slice it. But anyway, let's get to the next piece. "I'm so angry that they did, and I'm sorry you're in this position. We'll make sure nothing happens about this." Again, I'm sorry you're in this position. What are you exactly apologizing for? You're not saying, "I'm sorry I put you in this position." You're not saying, "I shouldn't have called the police because you didn't do anything." Like, there's just certain things that if you're going to use this as evidence to prove nothing really happened and that she, self-inflicted wounds, these texts are not proving that. She continues, "I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone. I only just got out of hospital. Just call me when you're out. I love you." Now, the big thing about these texts is it's not fully verifiable on whether or not these are actually real, if these actually came from the young lady, or if these are just some BS texts that are being released online under the guise of Jonathan Majors and the situation, somebody trying to go viral. So you also got to keep that in perspective as well. But again, I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone. At that point, when you say something like that, you're basically admitting guilt that, hey, I shouldn't have tried to grab your phone because whatever came to me after that is basically my fault. That's kind of how that wording sounds to me. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a legal professional. Definitely not giving nobody any legal advice or counsel in this video, but this is this is a little shaky, man. Another text says, "They just called again to check on me and I reiterated how this was not an attack and they do not have my blessing on any charges being placed." Okay, so now we have some sort of admission that she was not attacked. All right, that got a little bit of A1 sauce on it, but with the way that the first text came across, how they read out, I don't know. Maybe they called and was like, "Hey, you're going to have to do a little better. That first text you sent me ain't really telling what needs to be told. You're going to have to clean that up. What Raekwon tell Joe? Clean that up, man." Again, let's not make no jokes about this. "I read the paper they gave me about strangulation and I said point blank, this did not occur and should be removed immediately." Okay, we getting somewhere. "The judge is definitely going to be told this. She ensured this to me. I know you have the best team and there's nothing to worry about. I just want you to know that I'm doing all I can, my end. I also said to tell the judge to know that the origin of the call was to do with me collapsing and passing out and your worry as my partner due to our communication prior out of care. She promised all will be relayed. Now, how did she collapse and or pass out? Was there a lack of medication? Was there an allergic reaction to something? Like, how do we get to that point? All of this is seeming very fishy. Like, fishy is like an understatement. It's really smelling like the fish market. I'm gonna be totally honest with y'all, bruh. It's definitely giving Red Lobster, Papados, anything to deal with seafood. That's the vibe I'm getting. Now, the first set of texts that came out around 6 p.m. due to the timestamp on it. Then you have another set of texts that come out approximately 3.5 hours later at 9:30 p.m. There's no response in between any of them. So definitely there was a phone call or maybe an email, some sort of communication that's not being traced in this text thread that basically said, hey, you gonna have to clean that shit up, man. Come better. That first set was not it. It gave a little bit of what it needed to give, but you're gonna have to put some extra gravy, a little salt, and a little pepper on that. And to be honest, I mean, when you look at this, it still feels like she's taking the blame for herself, not herself like putting him in a situation. She's not saying I did this to myself. I threw myself out the car. Mentally I'm not in a good place. I'm so sorry that I put you in this position. None of that is being said in here, which is actually language that somebody would find admissible in court to actually be like, look, this is where she admits it's her fault. No. She's basically admitting fault for basically egging him on or provoking some sort of action or reaction out of him. That's basically the apologetic tone that I'm getting by reading these texts. This is a very unfortunate situation. Ultimately, nobody is going to win. Everybody loses because now the level of scrutiny that's coming behind this whole situation, it's enough to already put a black spot on this man's career. Even if he gets found not guilty in court or they find some sort of way to do a settlement or something, the damage has already been done to tarnish his reputation, to tarnish his name, all of the good standing that he had with so many fans. It's being taken basically by the day. And the more that people talk about it, the more that information comes out about it, the more that they try to spread these texts. They really should try to get these texts removed from the internet because it's not helping. And then on the other end, homegirl, even though her identity has not been revealed, the people that are in her circle, eventually it's going to come out what her name is. And she's going to also deal with adverse effects because she's going to effectively be known as the woman that took down Jonathan Majors' career right when he was about to be Hollywood's next star. So nobody in this situation wins. Now, whether or not she was actually, attacked or not, we can't verify that. We can only go by what's being said so far. We can only go by, I guess, adding this set of text to the conversation. But ultimately, if there is a court case, which I believe is sometime in May, that's really when some sort of truth will be revealed. And I'm not even sure if the full unadulterated truth is going to be presented in court at that time, because at the end of the day, they're really trying to protect this man. Number one, they're trying to protect his career, trying to protect his name, trying to protect all of the trajectory that he had ahead of him with Marvel, with doing the next Creed movie potentially. All of those things are now being called into question on whether or not those projects are going to be able to move forward. He's already losing one of his Army ads, which I covered on the channel as well. So the writing is already on the wall. I guess the question is, do you want it to be written in sans serif or would you like it to be in cursive? But the writing is there. It's just really about how legible the text is. Now, of course, with anybody that is a victim, if she has indeed been a victim in this situation, you got to look out for her. You got to look out for her mental health. And, ultimately, the aggressor would have to be punished, of course. And I think if that turns out to be what happened, he should get whatever comes to him. But this situation, it just looks bad, man. It looks bad on all angles. There's no way or form that I could try to clean this up to make it sound better than it actually is. To be honest, these texts should have never hit the net, bruh. I don't know who conjured this up. I don't know who felt like it was in the best interest of the world to leak this out. But again, the linguistics, the language, the writing, none of it is clear enough to just be cut and dry, like, you didn't do anything and I'm sorry that I framed you. That would have to be the exact language. She would have to come out in plain King's English and say, I'm so sorry I framed you. I know you'll never forgive me, but I just want you to know I am apologizing. She basically would have done better saying that in one little text rather than sending all this junk. You know what I mean? Basically giving people so much to dissect that it becomes too much to dissect for it to even feel real. That's my perspective on this thing, man. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this, bruh. Again, if this is the evidence that the people have to work with, hey, bruh, you might want to go get fitted for your jumpsuit. But we're going to see if you got video evidence that's going to help you. Be sure to chime in down below in the comment, man. Like and share this video. And if this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the post notification bell for all updates. And I will see y'all on the next one, man. Be safe out there. Keep your hands to yourself, man. Stay out the way. Do something good and productive with your time. All that good shit, man. Peace.